What's up, you guys? My name is Elisha and I'm stoked to be here. I'm going to guide us through a little holiday movement class. It will be warming. It's going to be potentially level 1, maybe level 1.5. There will be some spicy parts. Nothing too crazy, but challenge, warming. And yeah, let's get into it. So we'll start on a block, and on your seat, on the knees, you can sit on a block. And if you don't have a block, if you have a bolster or like a little pillow to sit on, that is nice. A little bit of height is always welcome. And if you have none of that, then just on your knees is fine if that feels, or on your heels is fine if that feels cool for your knees. And take your hands to your bum, lift your cheeks out from underneath of you so you sit high on your sits bones, and you accentuate the lower lumbar to move into its natural curve just a little bit. And bring your hands to the inside of the thigh and curl forward. Chin tucks into the chest and the shoulders dip, rounding forward just a little bit. Finding this full rounded quality, begin to pull your thighs apart. So resist your thighs wide and feel this expansion and opening through the shoulder blades. You can take your ribs for a little glide side to side, just to become more aware and sensitize the back of the heart. Low ribs just sliding side to side. Continuing to pull the thighs wide to feel that stretch through the back. Shoulder blades expanding, broadening. And then bring your hands back to the tops of the thighs. Lengthen through the belly. Lift your chin, open your throat. Tap into your breath here for a couple of moments. Allowing each inhale to travel deep into the pit of the belly. And each exhale softens, grounds you a little bit more. And tapping into a connected breath. Inhale, looping seamlessly with each exhale, like a wave. And when the mind travels away, just bring it right back. Noticing the quality of each inhale, expansive. Allowing you to fill and rise upwards. And each exhale, grounding, softening. Like a sigh of relief. And bring your hands to your heart, connect into your heartbeat for a couple of moments. And give your heart a little squish and really feel into your pulse, into your beat. Notice how when you bring your hands to your heart, that you begin to breathe more fully all the way up into the chest. And take one more full breath here. Give your heart a little squish, lift the corners of your mouth, and promise yourself a beautiful practice. We'll sweep the arms wide all the way up to the sky, stretch way up high. Reaching upwards, gaze shifts to look towards the fingertips. A little sway side to side, like you're trying to reach more space into the belly, more space into the sides. And then connect your hands above your head and slide them down through heart center. Bow your head. And calling in gratitude for each breath. And thankfulness for the time that we have to spend with ourselves and with each other, near and far. And for these practices that help us to come back into our center time and time again. And to keep us grounded, to keep us in our heart, to keep us loving ourselves and others. We'll begin by taking whatever prop you have underneath of your bum away. And connect into the top of the foot. And press the top of the foot down. Gently drag it back to create a little low bridge in the ankle. Reach your arms forward and cross the wrists. Create a little bit of resistance, the wrists pressing into each other. The hips root back and wide and begin to glide into the sides. Finding some organic movement here. Even allowing your eyes to shut as you explore space. And these motions might feel sticky at the beginning as we begin to open into moving. And allowing yourself to just get curious here. Exploring circles, exploring sides, exploring length and contraction. Opening and closing. A little slinky back and forth, up and down. Finding your own flow, moving where your body knows it needs to go. Be in this for just one more moment. Find evenness if you need. And then release your hands forward. Making your way into all fours, hands and knees. And as you land here, allowing yourself to land with space so that there's an opportunity for the belly to be long, the wrists land ahead of the shoulders, the hands as wide as the mat or as wide as your shoulders. The knees can stack underneath of the hips, and there's this opportunity for the belly to be expanded and long. Landing here, just find some organic movement, perhaps gliding your ribs side to side. But again, going inside and just sort of feeling what feels like you need. What's available here, what feels good. And find your way to a more neutral space. We'll move together, slide your hips back and wide. Feel the length and tone in the belly, and then curl forward, chin to chest, rounding through the upper back. And press down the mat, feel the expansion in the back of the heart. And then slide your hips back and wide, lengthen and tone the belly. And curl forward, press down the mat, really broadening through the shoulder blades, feel the expanse. Slide back wide, lengthen, and curl in like a wave, articulating each little piece of the spine. And we'll take a couple of more, moving to your own motion, moving to your own pulse. And find some stillness. Press down the mat, really broad and through the shoulder blades. Back of the heart is expanding and wide. Slide your hips back, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and rise all the way up into hands and feet. Walk your feet as wide as your hips or as wide as the mat, whatever feels right. Take a nice deep bend into the knees. Root your hips wide and high. And begin to, again, just sort of explore movement here. Perhaps shifting the hips side to side. A little knee knocks through the center. Good. Pedal your heels. Pulse forward and back. Moving in a way that just feels intuitive to you. Again, an invitation to shut your eyes and really work to move inside. Maintaining a connection with your breath even as you move into more active places, maybe especially as you move into more active places. And find some stillness. We'll set up a strong base. The paws are connected. And give a little squish of the toes, like they're snuggling the mat. And bend your knees nice and deeply, and then root your hips back and wide to extend the back line of the leg. Finding length through the belly, at the same time lengthen the back line of the leg. Carry your heart forward just a little bit. And then bring focus to the back of the heart so that we can feel our shoulder blades broaden versus collapse. So nice strong press to hold that expansion on the back. Bend your knees. Externally rotate your right hand, toes and knees twist to the left. Knees bend forward, hips slide back and wide, rise, lift and lengthen into the left side. Find a pulse here. And think about lifting your ribs upwards versus shooting the ribs forwards. So we want to tack the hips back and wide and then peel open into the left side so that there's this spiraling quality, that the right ribs revolve up towards the sky, the low ribs revolve upwards, and we lift from this point up. Rising through the ribs creates a lightness in the left fingertips. Let's go ahead and drop the right foot, pick up the left three-point base. As we do this, pivot your right toes to face the top left corner of the mat. Bend into your knee and then extend, root your right femur back wide and high into the sky. The left knee keeps hugging in towards the belly. Now peel the belly long and open, rise into the left ribs. Little pedal. Each pedal you take lengthens you into the belly. The chin is lifted, the eyes gaze towards your left fingertips. And keep rooting your right femur back and wide. And pressing the mat away nice and strong with the right hand. One more. And then coming back through center, plant your hand down. With grace and control, we land the left foot down. And take a couple of pulses forward and back, hips root high and wide. And then pulse your heart forward. With the pause, we can think about resisting them down and back to extend the back line of the leg. And the hips root high and wide. And pull the heart forward and through. Okay, find some stillness. Externally rotate the left hand, toes and knees twist to the right. Bend your knees forward, root your hips back and wide, rise like you're peeling open into the right side. Find a pulse here. And turning yourself into this rainbow bridge, this beautiful arc where we rise into the right ribs. Again, thinking about really tacking the hips back and then rising upwards versus springing forward. Hips root wide, peel open, let the belly soften, and spiral the ribs to rise into the right ribs, high to the sky. Okay. And drop the left paw down, pick up the right. 3-point base. Pivot your left toes to face the top right corner of the mat. Little bend into the knees and then extend to root your left femur back and wide. Right knee keeps hugging in towards the belly. And begin to peel your heart open towards the right side. Little petal lives here. Sticky petal, each petal like you're pulling through sticky honey. And trying to find those lines in the belly where you can keep extending to open into the side. Eyes gazing towards the right fingertips, chin lifted and throat open. And take one more. And then with grace and control, coming back down through center. Hands and feet. Plant the paws, little shift of your hips side to side. Okay, bring your heart forward, press the mat away nice and strong, lower the knees down to the mat. Untuck the toes, top of the foot press down, sweep your arms forward all the way back. Hands catch behind the head, the elbows hug forward and narrow. Top of the foot pressing down, gently dragging back. Use that to slide your hips back and wide. Hold your roots, lift your heart to the sky, open up. Hips slide back, slide wide. Lift into the length of the belly, open up. Exhale sits you back. Inhale lifts you up, big stretch. Heart stays full, elbows pushing forward. Rise high through the center. Open, open, and then sit back, curl in. Chin to chest, rounding through the upper back. Feel your shoulder blades broad and expansive. A little glide of your ribs side to side, connecting into the back of the heart. And breathe here, take your time. And And then come back through center. Root your hips back. Let the belly soften forward. Rise your heart all the way back up. Lift up high. And take one more stretch. Root your hips back. Hold the hollows as you rise into your heart, high up to the sky. Okay. Release your hands back forward. All fours, hands and knees. Push fullness into the back. Shoulder blades are broad. Slide your hips wide. Tuck your toes. Rise all the way up to hands and feet. Land here. Take a couple of shifts of your hips side to side. Weaving and winding into the belly. And think about like juicing, juicing your core. Little twists, shifts of the hips, and getting deep into those belly lines. Okay, press down the mat nice and strong. Step wide, step wide. Take deep bends into the knees. Slide your hands back underneath of the shoulders. If you need a block here, block high or medium or low, whatever kind of block you need, you can have one. And we want to maintain the lower lumbar moving into its natural curve and the butt lifting back wide behind. So whether you have a block or not, we're going to take some pulses into the legs, bending and extending. And hover the heels just a tiny little bit. The feet are parallel forward. And we're going to bend the knees forward. And then extend, root your femurs back wide. Pause, press down and out to the side. Bend, extend, root back. And resist your pause down and out to the side. Bend, root back wide, and resist your pause down and out to the side. Take two more. Bend, root back and wide. Hold the fullness of your heart. Crown of the head reaching forward. Bend, root back, extend, and press the paw down and out to the side. Cool. Sweep your arms and create a little link with your hands. Bend your knees and begin to just sort of have a little spring squatty dance here. Hips root wide. Paws continue to press down and out to the side. And just sort of explore space. Again, you can curl forward. Go to the sides. Okay. Release your hands. Hands to the tops of your thighs. Root your hips back and wide. Shift the weight forward into the front of the foot and pivot both feet to the left side. Bend your knees forward and root your hips back and wide. Left forearm to the top of your left thigh. And I take this right arm, let it hang heavy. And just really feeling like you're holding a weight here, so that we can find that full expression of broadening through the back. And then root your hips back, right paw digs down, drags back, and stretch forward. Right arm reaches long towards the left. You can play in that a couple of times, letting the arm drop low. Feel the fullness of the back, little curl in. And then paint forward, big stretch into your length. Dig, drag, right paw down and back. The energy like you're taking off for a race as you stretch your arm long. Remember, these last couple will connect into a single crown. Right fist to the crown of the head. Elbow hugs narrow. Root your hips back and wide, and then begin to press your head into your hand, so that we tack the hips back. Let the belly lengthen and open as we resist the head into the hand. Hips root wide, big stretch, press to open. Let's take 2 more. And last one. Okay. Coming all the way back through center. Hands to the tops of the thighs. Hips slide wide. Little shoulder dips. Twisting with the ribs. And check into your paws. Press down and out to the side. The hips root wide. Okay, come back through center. Hover your heels and shift both feet to face the right. Deep bend into the knees. Slide your hips back and wide. Connect your right forearm to the top of the right thigh. Let your left arm hang heavy like it's weighted, really broadening through the back. And then root your hips back. Press your left paw down and back and sweep your left arm long towards the right. You can play within that a couple of times, letting the arm hang heavy, curling in. Resist your paw down and back as you stretch forward and long, extending through the whole left side. You can think of this quality of like painting, a big long sweep. And keep a lightness underneath of the right ribs. Okay, we'll connect into single crown. Left fist connects to the crown of the head. The elbow hugs narrow. Dig, drag your left paw down and back. Connect into your left butt. Let the belly soften long and resist your head into your hand. Hips root wide. Big stretch. Press into openness. Belly gets so long. Central channel stays long and open. Last one. Big stretch. And then lift it back up. Bend your knees deeply. Slide your hips back and wide. Hands down to the mat. Let's take a couple of hops. Pushing so strong with the arms. So no little bends in the knees, like wow, push strong, broaden into the back. Keep the eyes looking ahead of the hands just a little bit. Press the ground as you hop, hop. Knees at a 90 degree. Push down, eyes forward, let the belly open. Land back down, land wide. Rise all the way up, hands to the tops of the thighs. And take some little glides of the legs side to side. Option to stay, just keep it chill. Option to move into cheetah lunge. So we drop down into a low lunge, extending one leg. Dig your heel down, drag back to connect into the back line of your, in this case, the left leg. And then you can, as you transition, lift your butt to transition to the other side. Dig, drag the right heel down and back to keep connect into the tension and tone of the right leg. On this next one, we'll add. Shift, the left leg is extended. Let's take the right fingertips just to the ground. The elbow or the forearm or tricep can snuggle into the right knee. Left arm stretches long towards the right. Lift your chin, soften your shoulders, and breathe. Keep your left heel digging down and dragging back. And then we'll switch sides. Hips slide high as we transition to the other side. And then connect your left fingertips to the ground. The elbow or tricep or forearm, whatever kind of connects, can snuggle into the inside edge of your left thigh. Reach your right arm long towards the left. Soften your shoulders. Lift up your chin. And keep connect. That right heel digging down and dragging back. Okay, and then rise it back. Hands forward. And if you're still up, hands come down. Step back, hands and feet. And take a couple of pulses. Hips rooting high, heart springing forward. Little shift of your hips side to side. Okay. Press down the mat nice and strong. Lower the knees down. Untuck the toes and begin to pulse forward and back. The hips root high and wide and the heart springs forward. And keep your chin lifted, and as we pull the heart forward, push down the mat to hold that broadening through the shoulder blades. Keep the hips rooting back and wide, resisting the tuck. So keep the belly long and the knees can press down and wide as you pull back. Okay, sit your hips way back. Peel your left knee open to the side and place your paw to the mat. Okay, extend the right foot out just a little bit. Slide your hips back and wide. Peel open into the left side. You can use your left paw, dig down, drag back to hold your roots and to hold the engagement in the left butt. The hips tack back and wide. Let your belly soften forward and long as you little bit by little bit creep into the left side body. And chin is lifted, eyes can look towards your left fingertips. A gentle cascading of the right ear to right shoulder. Okay, take your left hand, catch underneath of the right ribs, little half hug. Slide your hips back, hold your roots, and begin to twist open. Revolution of the ribs, lift and twist. Hips root back, hold your roots as you open into your twist. And take a big stretch. Reach your left arm forward and long. Thinking about tacking your hips back and then stretch, press to reach open. Okay, connect into a bind, left hand to right forearm. Slide your hips back, curl your chin in and resist your hand from your forearm. Really feel that broadening through the back of the heart. Slide your hips back wider. Begin to open into your twist. Revolution of the ribs, right ribs. Twist low to rise high. Sit back, curl in and resist. Resisting the forearm, the hand from the forearm to broaden into the back. And then slide wide and open into your twist. Hips slide back, curl in and resist. Root back and twist it open. And take a couple more little pulses into your twist. Option to hold this bind, option to replace fingertips or a fist to the mat. We're going to keep the left foot weighted, left paws weighted, lift up the right knee. Now shift the right ankle, cross to the top of your left knee. Bend your knees, Root your hips back and wide. Peel open. Bend your knees. Slide your hips back and wide. And peel open. Bend your knees last time. Slide your hips back and wide towards the right side. And then peel open. Replace your left hand to the mat. Pivot your left toes forward. And take a couple of pulses here. Your hips root back and wide and the heart pulls forward. Bend, root back and wide, and the heart pulls forward. One more bend, root back, and bring your heart forward. Okay, externally rotate your left hand just a little bit and twist your left toes towards the right side. Bend your knees, slide your hips back towards the left, and peel open, rise into the right side body. Bend, slide wide, and open into the side. One more. Bend, slide wide, and open into the side. Okay, deep bend into the knees. We'll land the right paw down to land the left hip down. And here you want there to be space. It might be necessary to lift up your hips and shift them back so that they land behind the heart a little bit more. So the hips behind the heart. And if your hand is too close in here, and just walking it out a little bit. The right ankle is crossed in front of the left thigh. Let's take the right fingertips to the right side of the mat. Push your left hand away as you drag your right fingertips back in this simultaneously curling in. And then let your belly lengthen forward. Lift your chin. And push the mat away as you drag your right fingertips back. And then lengthen into openness. And push and curl in. And lift into your length, open up. Okay, plant your hands and just walk them back. Little shin stack, right shin on top of the left. If it's too crunchy, you can always unlink your ankle from on top of your left knee and just put it forward of your shin. And otherwise, little fire log pose here, you can catch your hands to your bum, pull the flesh out from underneath. And the first option, this might be perfect just to sit here tall, spine lifted, chin, and breathe. Second stage, we can take our fingertips wide, tent them out to the side, and hinge ever so gently at the hips until we feel a little hippiness. And there's multiple variations along the way. You can just walk your hands all the way down. You can create a double fist stack for your forehead to meet your fists if you have that space. Sometimes like a block, having a block to land your head on is actually quite nice. Just allowing yourself to land in a space that feels good for you. And sometimes little rocking side to side feels good. Deep, full breathing. And taking your breath to wherever you feel this the most. Letting your shoulders soften and your face soften. Walk your hands back if you're folded forward. And finding a tall spine. Take a twist, right hand to left knee. Left fingertips can land just behind. Finding a long presence through the torso, lifted chin, openness. And then twist the opposite direction. Fingertips land lightly behind, chin lifted, openness. And then come back through center. We'll just take this right foot and place it in front of the left ankle. Walk your hands back forward. And you want a little bit of slant in the arm as we're going to do some cool fancy business here. So keeping the right paw weighted, we're going to pivot on the right paw. First we'll lift up the hips to spin, left foot lands back behind, step back cat. And drop your hips, root your hips back and wide towards the left side. Take a big stretch. You can connect your left hand to your right forearm is my favorite. Root your hips wide towards the left side and then begin to open into your left line. Bend your knees, root back, and then open into your twist. Bend. Root back and wide. Hold your roots as you open into your spiral. And take one more. Release your bind. Left hand connects back to the mat. Left leg stays lifted. Press down the mat. Hold the fullness in your back. Carry your heart forward to step your left foot halfway forward. Moving into a dynamic high lunge. The feet are hip distance apart and not super long lunge. Keep your knees nice and bent and then slide your hands to the tops of your thighs. Landing here, connect your paws. Toes are connected, back heel hovers just a little bit. We'll take the hands to the hips and align. So taking the hips anterior, tilt them, so little hinge forward. Now take your hands to the bum. Catch low, spread wide, and as you do, you can begin to work into the extension of the front leg. So little pulses here, bending forward and then guiding the hips back and wide. We want to find this length and toning in the left leg. And keep a micro bend at least in your knee, a little pocket in the back of the knee. Okay, you can take your hands to the tops of your thighs. The knees can energetically resist wide. You could even place hands to the outside edges of your knees to press wide. And keeping your glutes mounding upwards. Length through the belly, alignment through the spine, chin is lifted, throat is open. Cool. Lift your heart and press your arms forward and wide. Soften your shoulders, chin is lifted. Take a little spring cross ankle, right ankle to the top of your left thigh. Carry your hands to meet forward of your heart and then bring them to the crown of your head. The elbows hug narrow. Lift your chin and rise upwards into the pressure of your hands. First stop stays here with a gentle bend in the standing leg, the hips slightly behind the heart and rising energy. Second stop finds a root and rise pulse. Slide your hips back and wide. And then rise into the pressure of your hands, lengthen into the belly. The hips slide back wide. And then rise up, open into the belly. Hips slide wide. And then lift it up last time. Okay, reach up, stretch. And then release your hands. First stop to the top of the thighs. Second stop, deeper seat. Root your hips way back, hands to the shin. Resist your heart forward. Third stop, right fist connects to the right paw and left hand to your left butt. Pull your butt up as you twist your heart towards the left side. Resist your paw into your fist, fist back into your paw. Breathe. Lift your chin, smile, And go in, nice and juicy. One more breath. With grace and control, releasing the arms back wide, lift your heart up and cross your right leg all the way over to find a kickstand. The right toes land just ahead of the left. Bend your knees, squish them together, and let your hips slide back. Take a big hug, the left arm on top of the right, connecting to your shoulders and widening the shoulders. You can find little sort of squirming around here. Sit back, sit deep, and then open into your sides. You can curl forward. Find movement here that feels good for you. You're also welcome to evolve this into full eagle arms. The elbows press forward and wide. And if you want extra challenge, you're welcome to level it up into a full eagle balance pose. Wrapping the legs, knees forward, hips back, elbows reach forward, broadening through the back. Okay, be here for just one more moment, ending on length. And then release your arms. Take the right heel, kick your bum. Connect your fist to the back of the heel for a heel press to catch the back line engagement of your right leg. Then connect the hand to the outside edge of the right ankle. Hug your right knee forward and slide your hips wide. Left hand reaches forward. Begin to hinge at your hips, come down halfway. And then kick into the hand to lift back up. Two more. Down halfway. Root your right femur back and wide. And then kick into the hand to lift back up. The left toes are grounded. Down halfway. Kick into the hand to lift back up. Let's do half more to come down. Halfway, hold, with grace and with control, release your ankle, hug your right knee in, root your hips back, hands plant down to the mat, push the ground away, hitch kicks, side to side. So these can be high, like you're painting a rainbow with your bum, knees stay contained at a 90 degree, land light with your paw. These can be low, just shifting your hips side to side, learning lightness with the paw. The higher you go, the lighter you get. And these can also just be literally shifting. You just want to press the mat away, keep your eyes looking forward. Really starting to learn to work into the hips. Land back. Hands and feet, take some petals of the heels. Hey, wide knees. Connect your toes behind you, sit back, child's pose. You're welcome to melt your heart to the mat or take elbows wide with a double fist stack. If child's pose doesn't feel cool for you, you can always sit back onto your knees and breathe with a lifted heart. And take one more full breath here. And connecting your hands forward on the mat. And roll your spine forward. You can fix your knees underneath of you. And we're gonna walk the hands wide. So a little bit wider than your mat. And I'm gonna roll forward onto the base of your thigh, the place that does not feel like the cap of your knee. And we really wanna connect into the butt. So we're gonna hamstring hug the heels towards the bum and get your butt up, super hollows in the groins. So none of this, only this. And then these roots, your hips are gonna stay tacked back here just like this. Hold length in your belly, push down the mat and broaden through your shoulder blades. Hold that buoyancy and then come down halfway, elbows pull wide. And then lift back up. Down halfway, elbows pull wide. Hamstring hug, heels to the bum. Keep your hips rooted back, wide and high. You should feel a lengthening in the belly. It's almost like you're resisting your way down. Next time you come down halfway, hold. Option 2, swish your ribs side to side. Okay. Come all the way down. Wide elbows. Double fist stack. Take your forehead to the mat and wash your knees side to side. And gentle press of the knees into the mat, ever so subtly. You're welcome to stay here. You're welcome to play into a bow. So taking your hands to catch the outside edges of the ankles. And I gently press the top of the thigh down into the mat to lift into the groin just the tiniest little bit. And then you can just play by pushing, like it's like you kick your feet into your hands. So a little kick to lift. And then play within that pressing of the thigh down, kick to lift. Press down, and then kick to lift. This time we'll press down, kick to lift and stay. And breathe. And then release. Let your feet land. Hands can just plant and you can land your head to your hands. And take your hands wide and connect your knees into the mat. We're going to come up how we came down, so pressing the knees down to lift the hips up and then push up. Hands to the mat. Let's tuck the toes, lift all the way up into hands and feet. And bend your knees nice and deeply. Hips stay rooted high and wide. Resist your pause down and out to the side. Hold presence in the heart. Press down the mat, broaden the back. Once externally rotate your right hand, toes and knees twist to the left. Take a couple of pulses here. Almost like rinsing it out. Root your hips back. Let your belly soften and rise into the left side. And then come back through center. A little shift of your hips side to side, weaving and winding into the belly. Externally rotate the left hand just a little bit. Toes and knees twist to the right. Knees bend, hips root, rise into the right side like a rainbow. We find our pulse, finding that lifting quality through the right ribs. And come back through center. Press down the mat nice and strong. Lower your knees down to the mat. Untuck your toes and begin to pulse forward and back. The hips root back and wide. The knees press down and out to the side. Hold that fullness through the heart as you push your heart forward, press down the mat, searching for hollows in your armpits, these little pockets in the armpits. Dip upwards. The chin is lifted, the crown reaches forward. Slide your hips way back and peel your right knee open to the side, place your paw to the mat. And kickstand the left foot out just a little bit. Slide your hips back and wide. Rise, lift, and lengthen into the right side. Little pulses here like you're teasing open the right side. Hips root wide. Let the belly soften as you creep open into the right side body. You can use your right paw to dig down, drag back to hold the connection into your right butt, your roots, as you rise into the side. And gentle cascading, left ear to left shoulder, chin is lifted, throat is open. Okay, take your right hand, catch underneath of the left ribs. Slide your hips wide and then little rotation of the ribs upwards. Hips slide wide, lift and twist, open up. Revolution of the ribs. Okay, take a big stretch. Reach your right arm long. Thinking about rooting the hips back as you press to stretch, reach long. We'll take a bind, right hand to left forearm. Slide your hips back, curl your chin into your chest, and resist your hand away from your forearm to broaden into the back of the heart. Slide your hip back wider, and then rotate your ribs open, spiral. Hips slide back, curl in and resist, broadening through the back. And feel the stretch. Slide wider and twist, left ribs rotate up. Sit back, curl in. Slide wide and twist. A couple of pulses into your twist. Option to hold the bind, option to connect right fingertips or a fist to the right side. We're going to keep the right foot weighted to the mat or the right paw weighted to the mat. Lift up your left knee. Now take your left ankle, cross over top of the right thigh or right knee, sit back, root back, and spiral open. Bend, root back, and twist. Bend, root back, and twist. Release your hand, right hand to right side of the mat, and pivot your right toes forward. Bend your knees, slide your hips wide and high, and then pulse your heart forward. Push down the mat, broaden the back. Bend, root the hips wide and high, and then pulse your heart forward. Bend, root back wide and high, and then stretch your heart forward. Externally rotate your right hand, twist your right toes towards the left side. Bend your knees, slide your hips back towards the right, and rise into the left ribs. Couple of pulses here. Bend, root back, and stretch. Bend, root back, and stretch it open. Deep bend into the knee. Lower your left paw down to the mat to lower your right hip down to the mat. We might have to do some adjusting here. So if you need to lift your hip and shift it back, you can do that so the hips land behind the heart. If this hand is pretty close in, we'll just give yourself some length here. Left fingertips to the left side of the mat, work into some push-pulls. Right hand pushes away as the left fingertips drag back. And then taking your heart, lengthening kind of like this quality like Little Mermaid. And then curling in, push down, push away as you drag back. And then Little Mermaid opens you up. Right hand pushes, left fingertips drag back simultaneously. And then lift it up. Find a little resistance of the left ankle into the right thigh. Okay, walk your hands back. And take a little shin stack. And if the shin stack doesn't feel good, you can always loosen your stack. Otherwise, little fire log. You can catch your hands to your bum, pull the flesh out from underneath of you. You may stay up high and just bringing presence into the central channel, lengthening through the crown of the head. If that feels great, stay. If you want a little more, you can take wide arms, little tented fingertips, and just sort of a slight hinge at the hips, holding the length through the spine still and just creeping into the hippiness of the hips. If you like a full fold, it's here for you. You can take a double fist stack. Or if you have a block to land your head to, that feels nice too. Or just, you could take some little rocking side to side. And wherever you land here, just inviting your breath into the spaces that feel sticky. Let your shoulders soften, let your face soften. And if you are folded, walk yourself back up. And we'll take a twist, the left hand to the right knee. Right fingertips can land back behind. Find length through your torso, lift into your chin, lift into the crown. And then twist the opposite way. Long torso, rising energy. And then come back through center and plant your left paw just kind of in front of your ankle or shin here. Walk your hands forward. And we're going to keep this left paw connected to the mat. Hands connected to the mat. Lift up your hip and little pivot to step back cat. And the right paw lands behind. Bend your knees, slide your hips wide, take your right arm, big stretch. And then connect into a bind, right hand to left forearm. Bend your knees, root your hips wide towards the left to begin to open into your right side. Bend, root back, and twist it open. Bend, root the hips wide, and open into your twist. One more. Big feeling, big opening, stretch into it. And then release back through center, hand connects to the mat. Right leg stays lifted. Carry your heart forward, push down the mat to step your right foot forward into a dynamic high lunge. Here it's not a long distance with this lunge. We want to keep it springy. Connect your feet and slide your hands to the tops of your thighs. So here the feet are on hip distance or railroad tracks. And there's an ability to bend both of the knees. Take the hands to the hips to align. Hands little shift. Anterior tilt of the pelvis. Hands to the bum, grab low, spread wide. And then pull the flesh back as you begin to extend into your right leg. So left heel hovers just a little bit. And we begin to find this gentle extension, this engaged extension into the right hamstring. And think about maintaining a little microbend or pocket in the back of your right knee. Use your toes to connect into your roots. Drag your right toes back. The essence of rooting your right femur back into the hip socket. Keep your pelvis level, parallel. Yeah, and you can play with this quality of resisting your knees wide, keeping the belly long and the spine aligned, chin lifted and throat open. Okay, reach your arms forward and wide. Lift your chin. And we'll take a little spring cross ankle, left ankle to the top of your right thigh. Connect your fists ahead of your heart and bring them to the crown of the head. The elbows hug narrow, lift your chin and rise upwards into the pressure of your hands. Option 1 stays here. A little bend into your standing leg, hips gently behind the heart and rising energy. Option 2 finds a root and rise pulse. Slide your hips back and wide. And then lift into the pressure of your hands, open up. Hips slide back like you're trying to sit into a chair. And then rise up. Hold the length of the torso long and open. Resist ankle into the thigh. Hips slide wide. Last time, rise up. And then reach your arms up. Hey, hands to the tops of the thighs. First stop, a gentle seat. Second stop, deeper seat. Hips slide wider, hands to the shin. Third stop, left fist connects to the left paw. Right hand to your right butt. Pull your bum up as you twist your ribs to the right side. Resist your fist into your paw. Paw back into your fist. Holding your central channel long, hips rooting wide, belly long, chin lifted, breathe. Notice your right toes, keep them connected nice and strong. One more breath. Okay, with grace and control, coming back, lift your heart high and cross your left leg all the way over. Create a little kickstand. Squish your knees together and let your hips slide back. This time the right arm goes on top of the left for a big hug. Catch your shoulders. You can play around here, just gliding your ribs side to side or curling forward or kind of taking what you need here. You're welcome to move into an eagle arm bind. And again, the same thing. Finding this opening. You're also welcome to spice it up with a full eagle pose. Finding full wrap of the legs, deep bend into the knees, knees forward, hips back. Elbows reaching forward, widening through the back, and you can play into whatever movement you dare to explore here. And I offer a challenge. This is something that I've been playing with a little bit, just little tiny bits. Okay, well, a couple more moments, just feeling into these last little side stretches in this space, ending on your length. Okay, release your arms. Left heel is going to kick your bum. Little press to catch the back line engagement of the leg, and then connect the hand to the outside edge of the ankle. Bend into your standing leg and root your hips back. Right arm reaches forward. Begin to hinge at the hips, coming down halfway or all the way. Your hamstring will tell you when it's time to kick into the hand to lift back up. Think about rooting your right femur back into the hip socket and then kicking into the hand to lift back up. Heart stays full. Torso moves as a unit. We'll come down last time and hold. Root your right femur back. With grace and control, release your ankle. Hug the knee forward. Root your hips wide. Take your hands down to the mat. Push the ground away so strong. Eyes forward. Hitch kicks side to side. And it'll feel like heaven to get off your right leg there. Pushing down nice and strong. Let your hips lead the way. So it's like the legs are just along for the ride. Landing light, painting rainbows with your butt. Push the ground so strong, eyes look forward. And again, this can be low. Land back, hands and feet, pedal your heels. Okay, lower your knees. And sit back onto your heels, hands to the thighs, lift your chin and breathe. Let your shoulders soften and take some deep breaths here. Okay, eyes open, hands forward. All fours, hands and knees. Take some barrel rolls, big circles with the rib cage. And switch your rolls, go the opposite way. Okay, press nice and strong, fill into the back, and tuck your toes, lift your knees, rise up, hands and feet. Okay, externally rotate your right hand, toes and knees twist to the left. Bend your knees, rising to the side, open up. And last little pulses here, you can take a big stretch into your openness. And then take a deep bend into your right knee, into both knees, and lower your right hip down. Left hand supports as you extend your right arm to the top left corner of the mat, and let your head just hang, just meet the mat. So it's kind of like lay down. Now take your your left ankle and cross it forward over the right thigh. Little cross ankle here. And take your left hand to your thigh and push away. And when you do this, you should feel like this. It's kind of juicy in the belly. So finding a resistance to stretch into the belly. Okay. Now with your right hand, give yourself a little kickstand and support your leg out to the side. If you have the space to take your right hand to your toes, you can. Left hand to your left butt. Pull the flesh back as you press your heel away. So kickstand or hand. Finding a little IT stretch. Okay, release, extend your right arm, place your hand to the mat and push yourself all the way back up, hands and feet. Couple of pulses forward and back. Externally rotate the left hand, toes and knees twist right. Last little pulses here. Option to take a few long stretches, hips tack back and wide, reaching into this openness. And then deep bends into the knees to lower your hip down. Hips land behind the heart. Support with your right hand to extend your left to the right corner of the mat. And just let your head meet the mat. Take your right ankle, cross it forward of the left thigh. And right hand can connect to the inside edge of the right thigh and find a little bit of resistance. And pushing the thigh away as the thigh pulls back. And feel this lengthening and toning in the belly. Okay, make a little kickstand with your left elbow and support your right leg out to the side. If you have the space to take your left hand to your toes, you can catch your paw and take your right hand to your right butt. Pull the flesh back as you extend your heel away. Working into this rooting the femur back as you extend away, IT stretch. Little bends and extends. Okay, roll all the way onto your back. Shift to the center of your mat. Catch your knees by cupping them and let the knees pull heavy. Allowing your spine to align lower lumbar in its natural curve, lifted gently from the mat. The heart is full, the chin is lifted, and little rock side to side. Take your knees into the air at a 90-degree. Reach your arms up into the sky. Light fists, arms reaching high. Knees halfway to the right, arms halfway to the left. And then as though you're reaching for opposite corners of the room, stretch, reach long to feel this length, toning and tensing in the belly. Toning. And bring it back. Knees left, arms right, big stretch. Reaching to feel tone, openness in the belly. And then bring it back. Knees to the right, arms to the left, big stretch, reach. Feel the length, your whole body engaging. And then back. Knees to the left, arms to the right, big stretch. And then bring it back and place your feet to the mat, chin up by your hands, elbows to the sky, wash your knees side to side. Okay. And take your feet, catch them, happy baby. Option to just hang here. Option to move into a little ninja chop rock, extending one leg long as you kind of creep another one in. Little rocking. Extend your legs long. Take your hands to your bum, spread your cheeks. Give yourself a big love hug. Lift your shoulders, broaden, and then place back down. And then cross your wrists above your heart and just roll your ribs side to side. Little back heart massage. Rolling with the ribs, resisting the wrists. And then allow your arms to land, palms up or down. Press the back of your head into the mat to lift your chin, open your throat. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let go. Allow yourself to land heavy here, resting in the sweet vibration of moving, of connecting to yourself and to the universe. And bring yourself back to conscious awareness of the breath. Inhale connected to exhale, looping continuously without pause. And just be here now. And for these last few moments, as you rest here, perhaps inviting the mantra Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam into your awareness, into your mind on repeat, to invite the truth of our identity, the truth of our essence that is love, that is individual and universal connectivity, that we are one. This is the truth of all. Sat Nam. I wish you the most beautiful holiday season. Thank you for practicing. Namaste. Poof.